I'm sure this is the physically largest project I've ever had on my workbench. Barely fits. Um, this is a big TV. It's a 50-inch flat screen. I've never looked into one of these, never had the back off of one. But this one was given to me by my father-in-law, and he said it was working just fine, except he's getting no sound out of it. So he just went down and bought a new one and said, "Here, this is yours if you want to take a look at it." I said, "Well, I'll take a look. If I can't fix it, I've got a really good electronic recycling facility here in Fairfax County, Virginia, so I'll drop it off there." But thought I'd do a little video on it and see if we can get it working. I'm kind of personally suspecting this might be part of the problem. This is what looks like the power supply board. The power comes in there. That's a dead giveaway. And it's got a little keep out area of AC down here and then DC up here. So and there's all of the voltages that it's supposed to generate. So I think I'll just fire it up and measure those and see if they're there. But it's kind of interesting to see what goes into these. I think this board what I can tell, it looks like it sends little signals out here to different areas. I think that's probably just powering up the LED backlight for the TV. And then this, I guess, is the main CPU board because it's got all the plug-ins going to it. And then it goes ahead and feeds this board and over here, this board. This is probably some kind of display board that sends the display to the panel, and then just little speaker modules here and there. So pretty simple. Maybe that's why these things are so cheap. There's not a whole lot to them, but I figured I'd try to get it working rather than just tossing it out and see what happens. So that's the first step. Go ahead and take a look at the power supply board and see if it's generating all the powers that it should be. Alright, it does look like this power supply board is putting out the wrong voltages. I've disconnected these already, but on all these plus 12 volt pins I was getting 19, plus 19. Plus 5 seemed to be there okay, and the 24 volts was reading 22 volts, so pretty close. But these plus 12s being at 19, it's not a good thing. So maybe I'll pull this off and just start checking capacitors and looking for other things and see if we can find anything obviously wrong with it. Alright, I did a little bit of work on the power supply board. I did replace a couple of the capacitors on the what's labeled the 12 volt supply, but I also looked, I went and bought the manual for this thing and discovered that even though it says silkscreen 12 volts, they say it's supposed to be 19 volts output. So that's correct. So all the voltages seem correct. So my hope was that the problem was in the power supply board, which is all through hole components mostly and would be easy to fix. That doesn't seem to be the issue, so I'm thinking that board maybe. Well, I was about to give up on this TV. Power supply looks like it's working. I think the LED driver is looking good. I was thinking maybe it's this CPU board. So I pulled it off and I noticed on the back there's a bunch of goo right here. That's where these little things were sticking. These are getting really sticky. It's where they were sticking the board down. So this is like wet or gooey or something. So I'm trying to clean this off the back of the board. See if maybe that got conductive or something. So I think that's my last effort here, just to clean that off, and reinstall it, and see if it works. Well, it looks a whole lot better. This is the area where all that goo was, and up here a little bit also. So a combination of scrubbing with a toothbrush, alcohol, acetone, and scraping with my fingernail got most of it off. I think I'll give this one more try, reinstall everything, and see what happens. Well, after cleaning up that goo off the back of the CPU board, that didn't change anything. So it looks like this thing has a failure that I'm not going to be able to fix. So my hopes of it being something on the power supply board didn't turn out to be true. Probably in the CPU board somewhere, which I'm not going to dig into. So I'll try to salvage some of the parts off of this. You know, these speakers and maybe the power supply board, some components off of this board, and then I'll recycle the rest. So I would like to thank my father-in-law Wayne for donating this to me after he was getting ready to throw it away. So sorry, Wayne, it's definitely going to the recycle bin, but that's what you were going to do with it anyway. So I did learn something from it. I learned that these things are actually very simple machines. It's just really 3 or 4 boards. And the owner's, or the service manual that I got had just a simple flow chart, you know, to look for certain things. If certain things don't work, you replace this board, replace that board, or replace that board, or the panel. So there's no detailed troubleshooting even in the service manual. So that's how they fix these things, I guess. Just probably why most people just throw them away, because they're cheap enough. You just go out, buy a new one. If it lasts you 5-6 years, you know, it's probably time for an upgrade anyway. So that's it for this one. It's besides the parts I'm going to salvage off it, it's going to the recycle bin. And sad to say, but that's what's going to happen to it. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.